Hello, how are you? If you feel pain when you wake up, stiffness when you walk, and notice that your body is getting more rigid over time, it could be a problem with your bones or your joints. A lot of people feel this way, especially as time goes by, right? As we get older. A bunch of things start to hurt, your back, your shoulder, your knee, your hip. So I've put together for you the main teas that can help you in a natural way to fight these pains and inflammation in your joints and bones. And at the end, I'm going to tell you about an ancient drink widely used in China and Japan that helps a lot. It's one of the most powerful. Stick around until the end because you won't want to miss it. Before we start, I want to ask you if you feel pain in your bones, pain in your joints. Which part of your body hurts the most, bothers you the most? Write it for me down below in the comments. I would love to see your comment. If you can, go ahead and leave a like on the video. That's really important to me. And if you know someone who suffers from pain, share this video. Let's work together to expand this chain of kindness. This issue with joints and bones is complicated. As time goes by, many people feel pain, and a healthy joint usually has three main components, right? There's the cartilage, which protects the bone, the synovial fluid, which lubricates the structure, and a membrane that surrounds all of this. Over time, with chronic inflammation, this system can start to break down. And the main factor that causes this is, in fact, inflammation. Because inside the joint, when the body is more inflamed, it starts to produce some inflammatory substances, interleukins, cytokines. And these substances activate enzymes that literally begin to degrade our cartilage. Many people don't know this. So, because of this, there can be an increase in free radicals, which accelerates the destruction of the joint structure. In other words, it's not just a mechanical issue like I'm getting older, my cartilage is wearing out. It's an inflammatory issue that can happen, and it's something that can be changed metabolically if you improve your diet and your lifestyle. That's why many teas can help you in this regard, because since they can help fight inflammation, they can also help improve your structure. One of the most studied teas for sure is green tea, right? Green tea is one of the main anti-inflammatory bases that we have. Its main active compound is EGCG because it acts directly on several inflammatory pathways in our body, especially within the joints. It reduces the activity of interleukins, cytokines, and also inhibits some enzymes that, as I mentioned, are responsible for degrading cartilage. In addition, EGCG has a very strong antioxidant effect. It is a powerful antioxidant and one of the most studied. It neutralizes free radicals that damage the cells in the joints. So with that, we can have less inflammation, less degradation, more protection for the cartilage, and people report feeling less pain when they start using green tea regularly and consistently. Later in the video, I'll teach you how to prepare the teas and how to drink them the right way. The second tea on our list could be ginger tea, which is closely linked to pain and inflammation. Ginger works in a slightly different way because it interferes with inflammatory enzymes that are involved in the production of pro-inflammatory substances, the same ones that are involved in pain. So ginger often works similarly to some anti-inflammatory medications, though with less intensity, and some studies on osteoarthritis show a reduction in pain and improved mobility. In addition, it also reduces inflammatory cytokines and can improve local circulation, which provides better comfort, improved mobility, and less pain for many people. If you want help to reduce inflammation, remember that I have a very interesting playlist here on the channel with many tips and amazing recipes. In addition to this playlist, I also have others focused on controlling blood sugar, weight loss, and so much more. I'll leave the links to them down below in the description. Another tea that has been widely studied when we think about inflammation, and you've probably already thought of this ingredient, is turmeric tea. It has a very interesting effect on controlling the inflammatory process. It acts on an even more central level because its main compound is curcumin, which works on a specific pathway that functions like a switch, so to speak, for inflammation in our body. So when this pathway is activated, the body produces various inflammatory substances, but curcumin can help reduce this activation. In other words, it doesn't just act on the symptoms, it acts on the root cause, on the command center of inflammation. In addition, it reduces oxidative stress and can help preserve cartilage, so it's an excellent addition. Rosemary is another tea you can add to your daily routine. Although it's less talked about and less well known, it plays a very interesting role because it contains rosmarinic acid, which has a noteworthy effect. It is antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. It's a two-in-one function. So it helps reduce free radicals and also modulates here the inflammatory cytokines. So this protects the cells of the joints against that ongoing damage and can also help with that sensation of pain. There's a tea that people don't usually associate with bone or joint health, but it plays a very interesting role, which is horsetail tea. It can specifically help with bone structure because it's rich in silica, and silica is important for collagen formation and bone mineralization. So this can help provide joint and structural support and even help with bone pain. Those who experience bone pain can benefit from horsetail tea. I saved for last a very interesting drink that we can try to add to our daily routine. It's an ancient beverage, widely consumed in the Far East, common in China and Korea, but hardly anyone talks about it here, which is black sesame tea. It's not a regular tea like green tea because it's a drink made from crushed seeds. You have to crush the sesame seeds in a mortar and then add hot water to drink it. It's almost somewhere between a tea and a plant-based milk, but it's not quite a plant-based milk because you don't strain out the seeds. You need to consume the seeds afterward. And this completely changes the type of benefit, right? Because while other teas reduce inflammation and pain, black sesame tea can help improve bone and joint health. We talk about black sesame tea because it's the most commonly used in the East, but you can also use white sesame without any problem. Sesame is very rich in calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and zinc, which play a role in the formation of bone matrix. Bone isn't just calcium, it needs these nutrients. Sesame is very nutritious. Not to mention that sesame is one of the foods richest in calcium. Sesame milk itself has more calcium than cow's milk, and people don't know that. So, very interesting. But besides that, it contains sesamine and sesamol, which have antioxidant properties and modulate inflammation. So they can also help, once again, like turmeric and ginger, to reduce the inflammatory state, decrease that low-grade chronic inflammation, and lessen the constant pain that many people feel. So, as a complementary option, it can be a drink for you to add to your daily routine as well. There are slightly different ways to prepare each type of tea. For example, if you make tea from leaves like green tea, rosemary, or horsetail, you can follow the same preparation method, which is to heat the water until it starts to boil, and then you add the herb to the water. In 1 glass of water you've set aside for your tea, you add about 1 teaspoon of dried herb or 1 tablespoon if it's fresh herb, cover it, wait about 5 to 10 minutes, strain it, and then it's ready to drink. Regarding other teas like ginger and turmeric, which are roots, pieces, really, the ideal is to put that piece in the water and bring it to a boil to extract it through decoction. They're harder, so they need to boil for a longer time to properly extract their properties. After the water starts boiling, you should let it bubble for 5 to 10 minutes, and if you want, you can even cut it into small pieces or slice it to extract the compounds more quickly. Afterwards, you can also strain it and drink it. Remember that curcumin is absorbed a little less efficiently, right? Its bioavailability is a bit lower, so maybe adding a pinch of black pepper or a little bit of chia or even sesame seeds themselves, which contain healthy fats, could be a good idea to add to your tea to help improve its absorption. Remember that when we make tea from leaves, we don't need to bring it to a boil like we do with roots, because if we boil the leaves, it can make the tea bitter and inactivate some bioactive compounds. That's why I said you should put it in your mug or cup and let it steep right there. And in the case of roots, you put them in a pot or a milk pan or a kettle to boil. Of course, if you use ginger or turmeric powder, you can just mix it directly in the mug. You don't necessarily need to do this extraction by decoction because it's already going to be more easily. Everything will be ground up, making it easier for the compounds to be released. Another interesting point to remember is that when we're thinking about a tea to reduce inflammation, we shouldn't add sugar because sugar is pro-inflammatory. So drink it plain, or if it's absolutely necessary, just a few drops of sweetener like stevia, a non-caloric sweetener, so you don't ruin a tea that's so beneficial. It's also worth remembering that tea is not a free pass for you to have a diet high in sugar, ultra-processed foods, or inflammatory fats, because that will also be harmful. So everything is about balance. The tea will help you as a complement, but it's not a miracle cure, right? You need to have a balanced diet, exercise, sleep well, avoid alcohol, avoid smoking. Everything that reduces inflammation in your body will help you as well. If you're unsure whether you should consume a certain type of tea, talk to your doctor or your nutritionist in your city. Remember that this video is for informational purposes only. So, take the opportunity to tell me which tea you would like to try, which one appeals to you the most, which you find tastiest or easiest to add to your daily routine. I would love to see your comment. Remember to like the video, as that helps me a lot, and share it with those who will enjoy it and those who need it. Let's grow this chain of kindness. That's what I want here with this channel. See you next time. Bye.